Good morning and welcome to August the 11th, 2023, 100 plus degrees, and I'm still wearing a sweater in Republic Grand Ranch, Willis, Texas. Today, I'm going to be talking about framing. We're almost finished with the frame here. We still have a punch to come back and do, a couple of other things to come and do. We still have to finish taping. We still have to do a few other things, but it's good enough for us to have a look at. And it's a great introduction into what do we do here in Royal Texan when it comes to framing and how is it different in your home. So without further ado, let's go and look at the front column. Okay, key to any introduction about zip system is we start at the bottom and we go up. That gives us a nice line, which is going to be important later on when I talk about how we flash the underneath. The other thing we need to do is to make sure that these corners that we do first are going to be really nicely overlapping. And they've got to be right on each other, like a good 90 degrees. So you don't want them to be butted up. You want them just to be kind of overlapped. And that's a great start. So I left this exposed in a few corners here because I really wanted to be able to show you this detail. Anyone who's installing your zip system for you should probably be doing it this way. Anyway, let's go around the corner and look at how we put the zip system together and how we come underneath it with the liquid flashing. So very often people start when we're talking about framing, you know, on the inside and the studs and the walls, but really I want to start on the outside first, if that's okay. And the reason for that is I want to show a couple of things. First of all, I want to show the zip system that, you know, it's the 11th of August 2023 and I'm over here in Willis in Republic Grand Ranch today, and at the time of filming this is a standard that we put on all of our houses. Why do we do that? Why do we put this kind of quality of sheathing on everyone's house? Well, I want to sleep at night, and so do you. So what this does is it's a great preventer of any moisture, of any air because of the taping coming inside your house. It's a fantastic, it's probably the best system on the market that I can think of that prevents that from coming through. If you're interested, actually, leave a comment and I'll put a link to some tests between standard OSB or house wrap with OSB and the zip system, and you can see it's a third-party test and it'll show you the difference. But the other thing that we do, because there's two things, right? There's what we use and then there's how do we use it. So the how we use it is super important. And so I'm going to look at the bottom here and just show you a little detail that we like to do. So down here we have this liquid flashing that we put around the perimeter of the homes. What this does, and you can see it's very, very thick. What this does is it prevents any moisture, any water rundown, or any air, and any bugs from being able to get inside the house and into the cavities that sit behind this wall. It's just another way that we go a little bit beyond, because even though it's not code, let's say that D is a passing grade, we really want to be an A grade student. And so that's how we try and achieve that. Anyway, let's go inside and let's have a look at some of these framing details. So we've discussed the exterior, but let's talk about the interior. I'm always being asked, what's behind the walls, Mark? Well, let me show you. So what we do is we do a 2x6 frame. Now the 2x6 does so many things as opposed to a 2x4 frame. And why we use it pretty much exclusively in all of our homes is because it gives you a lot more structural rigidity of the frame, and as that load gets dispersed, you really want to know, particularly in high wind vulnerability areas like we live in, that this is holding your house up. The other reason is because it gives you this fantastic depth, right? It gives you this fantastic depth. It's 50% deeper than the 2x4 wall. And what that does is it allows us to really insulate truly in a very deep way your exterior thermal envelope. And your thermal envelope not just is in these large cavities here, but it's also in the corner. A lot of times people frame and they leave a corner because it meets like this. This wall is here, this stud is here, and they meet here. And then there's this cavity that no one can get back into. And so that is a real vulnerability for the exterior temperature, whether it's hot or cold, coming through and breaking their way into your house. So what we like to do is we like to leave a space here. Some people call it California corners. We just frame this way so that we can leave a gap, and then we can insulate deeply into all of your thermal envelope of your house. A couple of other things while we're here. As you saw outside, we do something to prevent moisture and air coming in, but inside as well, and a lot of builders do this, they put the polyseal in here. So we seal up all the cracks, crevices and gaps. We also do it at the top as well. And what that does, particularly you can see it at the top plate, is when we put the sheetrock on, it provides a really nice seal for that sheetrock, so it doesn't allow moisture or any air kind of coming through and out into the space. That is a passing grade. However, we like to go above passing. And so the exterior, particularly with the liquid flashing that we do around the base and the way that we do our framing, it's not just what we use, but it's how we do it too. Let me show you a sound wall. So a sound wall, why use a sound wall? Well, very often sound reverberates through solid material. And so if you have a 2x6 wall like this, you could insulate that, and that would help reduce the sound. But what I like to do is I like to stagger. As you can probably see here, you've got 2x4s, and then you've got other 2x4s in between. And if you look at the bottom here, you can see that these are staggered. And the reason for that is it allows us to decouple this solid from this side of the wall. So there's a space here that we're able just to come in and insulate on this side and insulate on this side and then cover up. And it just helps us make our sound insulated walls better. So if you're looking for a sound insulated wall, whether you use us or anyone else, there are ways that are cost effective for you to be able to achieve great sound insulation without breaking the bank, and something that will really last the test of time.